Welcome, welcome. So just back from a beautiful summer in the mountains, which was a joke. We had a winter storm advisory up at Keystone. The good news is we couldn't go anywhere. The bad news was we couldn't go anywhere, so we all went to dinner together. We just really had a good time. So what I did is I said, okay, you guys, I want a tip from everybody for everybody who watches, for all of you. So this is unedited from the ladies in the workshop. There's some pretty good ones. Okay? The first one is, if you fry bacon naked, it hurts. That was all she could come up with to tell you all. If you fry bacon naked, it hurts. I thought that was pretty funny. If you get an Instapot, you'll have more time to sew. The only thing that stands between you and easy is you. Be willing to fail. Just get started. Know where you are and where you want to be. Because sometimes, a lot of times we say, okay, well, I want this, but we don't know really what we want in numbers. And then the last one is, you don't make a muslin for circumference. You make a muslin for depth. You can always measure circumference, but you can't measure depth. All right, so those are the big tips. Did I miss anything? Oh, the templates. I forgot about the armhole templates. They need to be something solid. Like, they can't really be fabric or paper. They need to be something cardboard, you know, more fixed, because otherwise when you go to lay them down, they can move, they can have a bump in them. They need to be more rigid. So I think that's it. All right, that's all the advice we have from Keystone. So tonight we're doing pattern 2010. It's the yoga skirt. Oh my goodness. I hope you have as much fun as I did with this pattern. The yoga skirt, it's quick, it's simple. I'm going to show you how to make every variation I could think of. Or I don't know if that's true, but you know, we made quite a few. I think we've got 6 or 7 here. And then I've got a few more pictures that I didn't make that I'm just going to show you. And actually that's exactly where we're going to start. We're going to start with picture number 1. And this is just a great, I think, example of combining together the yoga skirt on top of the leggings. I thought it was just really cute. Notice they left it open just a little bit at the sides. So the skirt completely covers if her legs were down, but if her legs are together, you can see that that yoga skirt is just a really feminine wear to wear leggings and not have to wear anything over it. So I thought that was just really fun. Didn't need to make it up because this picture certainly showed it all and showed how it was done, etc., etc. Okay, so then we're going to start in with number 2. And this just whole ruching idea is really where the inspiration came from. And I thought, you know what? The yoga skirt has a full hemline, really easy to ruche. So I used fabric number 2280. And it's this low one down here. We'll pull it out a little bit so we can see it. And we can capture that bottom of that camera, can we? Oh, we can't even see it. It's total black. It's so cute. Can you get that better at all down there? No, it's not going to happen. Oh, okay, so you're going to have to pretend on this one. It is really cute. I mean, it's so much cuter to me than that picture, but you definitely want to get a solid fabric, because when you have a solid fabric, it just shows so much better. So go back. This is 2280 is the fabric. It's a real soft cotton. In fact, what I did is I made one of the wraps, what's his name? The wrap that we did last Thursday night. I've got one on, and I did one to match this, and it's adorable just because it's kind of like a not ruffle, but extra with that ruching. But when I did the ruching, I cut the skirt like 6 inches longer, and that's only because by the time I did the ruching, I wanted to make sure that for me, it was still at the length I wanted. So keep in mind that ruching is like 20 inches long. And what I did is I sewed on black fold over elastic on the inside, just 2 strips. I didn't put it in the seam. I literally put it just like on the side of the skirt, not in the seam, because I didn't want it at the side. I kind of wanted it on the front, similar to what she did. Hers is a straight skirt. I left mine full. I'm going to show you later on in the webcast how to make it a straight skirt if you want to. But for right now, I did it on the full skirt. And like I said, it took up, because when you ruche it up, it takes up circumference. But it's just really cute on. And then a simple little tank. And then this little cape underneath. Ted. I can't remember the name of the wrap. Sorry, you guys. It lasts Thursday. Okay, so 2280 is the fabric, and I used 2 yards. All right. And again, what I did is I put fold over elastic on the inside, 2 rows, and just stitched on both sides of the fold over elastic. Then I took this cording or rat tail, I went up, back down the other side, and then I tied it at the bottom. And because it's pulled up, I just tied a bow and then cut it off. Just really fun to do. You could do this on a top. You could do this lots of different places, but I really liked it on the skirt, and I thought that look was really cute. All right, so we have way too much fun, so we're going to go on to the next one, and then if you have questions, just let me know. All right, so number 3. So this one I saw at a store, pricey, and I just loved it. It's the yoga skirt. It's exactly the yoga skirt. They just cut it up and put it back together, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So this is the version I did. Now, when they did it all solid like that, I thought that, you know, we have 2 fabrics right now. We have that wide ribbed pink and the wide ribbed white. I don't know the fabric numbers. They're on the 1st or 2nd page. Both of those would be really, really good. So this one, if you notice, that side panel, it works well with stripes because you can see the side panel is placed on horizontal stripes. The front is put on vertical stripes, and then the bottom, we'll show the bottom here in just a second. That bottom portion is diagonal stripes, and I'm going to show you the breakdown of the pattern. I've drawn it all. Isn't that cute? It's asymmetric at the bottom. It's just adorable. And then I did it with just a 550. I did a cowl neck top, and then this is pattern 600. This was the little wrap that I did, that Nordstrom's wrap, where it just came up and wrapped around. So I thought that was just a really cute outfit together. So let's go to 3B. And I'm going to go through and show you the pattern making process. Okay, so you can see in the top and in the bottom also, one's the back, one's the front. You're going to, now what I did is I put all the numbers on here so that I felt like as you go back and see these and you go to try to recreate it, instead of me saying the numbers, you got them all right there on paper, but I'll kind of walk through this with you so you can see. Okay, so you're first going to take the front and you're going to do a whole front. And you're going to take the back, you're going to do the whole back. So then I've got the numbers there on the side. Notice it's a 1.5 at the top and 2 at the bottom, and that's the front and the back. And you're just going to cut those pieces off, and like this, you're going to put them together. So you're making one wide panel. It's part of the front, part of the back. You put them together, you eliminate the side seam, so you're going to overlap that seam allowance. And the stripes, you see the arrow there? The stripes, that arrow means the stripes go horizontal. So that piece goes horizontal. Easy enough? Okay, then you're going to take this front, and you do the same to the front as you did to the back. So I'll just show one. So the front, you notice you come down, the number's there, you cut across to how wide the number is there at the bottom, and that's the front. And then you add seam allowance. And then when I do that big black line, that's where you add the seam allowance, both on the front and the back, but the front and the back pieces are the same. And that's part of this that you cut off. So this is like that, goes like that. It's like a little puzzle. But where you cut it off, you can see that I added those 2 additional numbers there. So you can see exactly the sizes of the piece. And then that, if you notice that the line right there in that center of that panel, that's where the stripe goes. So that's what creates. It's very little pattern work. I mean, really, you just plot in the numbers, cut it off. It just took no time at all to do this. But again, I want to show you the bottom of this again. If you don't mind, let's do that camera. Just so you can see how the lines play. And so this is the piece, and you can see that the lines go horizontal to the piece. They go along with the piece, straight there at the top, and then sidewards, side on the side. I love this. I just think it's so cute. Really cute on, just a real flirty skirt. The fabric that we used on this one was 2403, and I used 2 yards. 2403. The cowl neck is the black knit, the rayon knit. And then you guys all know about this wrap. All right, how we doing? Is that cute? Fun stuff. Skirts are so fun. So many women say to me, well, I mean, not so many. A few women say to me, I don't wear skirts. Wear skirts. Just put on tennis shoes. It doesn't matter. They're just cute. You can make them any length you want. You can make them any size you want. I just think they're adorable, especially for summer. Especially if you make them long. No one they're so much more cooler than pants in the summertime. No one really cares what kind of shoes you have on anyway. I don't think so. All right. So that's number 2. That was number 3. Sorry. Okay, then let's go to number 4. All right, this is a Max Mara. And you all don't even want to know this price. Just ridiculous price. So there's a couple things that if we learn, one is asymmetric and one is ruffles. And if we learn both of those concepts, almost all the skirts out there, either asymmetric, ruffle, or both. So I thought I would go through this and show you how to do it. So what I did is, if you look at the next picture, I kind of drew lines right there to show you where the straight hem was, how much the center was lowered, and then how much it was raised to give you that top effect. And what I did is I figured it out by numbers, proportions, how long the side seam was and how long the skirt would be. Anyway, I went through a little bit of math and saw that it was 6 inches down and 8 inches up. Now, if you notice the stripes, are coming in toward the front. That means that there has to be a seam down the center front. Your option. I actually didn't put a seam down the center front. And this is my version. And I did this. This is fabric number 2423. I used 3 yards. And of course, it's not as striped as what that is. All I really liked was this beautiful asymmetric hem and the fact that it's a wrap. Although it's a wrap, but I secured it into the waistband, so it's a wrap, but you literally just throw it on. And it's well covered, so there's nothing that can unwrap, which I actually really like in skirts. All right, so is it asymmetrical with the change? I'm not sure what just ask again to where I can understand your reference. Does the other side of the striped skirt have the horizontal panel? The striped skirt, no. It goes to the side and it goes to the back. I mean the front side and the back. The one side has the horizontal panel, the other side has the asymmetric bottom. But the front and the back are the same. And the best thing to do is as you go through it afterwards, say, okay, I really like this one, this is the one I want to do. And you'll see those numbers and stuff are really accurate, and then just put it together the same way you would sew the yoga skirt. Okay, so this one, again, I went down and then up. Down the 6, up the 8. I made one front that was normal and then the second front. So it's actually, this one's got 2 fronts and it's open there on the side. It's shy of the overlap, about 2 inches. Oh my gosh, it's just so cute. I just love it, love it, love it. You know, this would be great. One thing that's great for skirts is jean jackets. Jean jackets are probably one of the best little tops for summer possible. You could do them sleeveless. You could do them short sleeve. They don't have to be long sleeve. You don't have to put all that work into them. And then you can wear a longer top below them. So you don't have to wear a shirt tucked in. You know, that's kind of outdated. So a lot of jean jackets, they're wearing shirts long underneath and then a jean jacket on top with skirts. And they're really, really cute. So you want something a little closer to your body that's being worn. And that jean jacket will really do a nice job. Even though it's not tight, leave it open and then just put something fun underneath. Okay. So that's the Max Mara. And again, I always like to show you the original. I think we have a, please show us the back of the striped skirt. Okay, hang on. I always like to show you the original just so you can see kind of how loosely I translated it. You know, I'm thinking I'm going to pull this up. Hang on one second. Do you think if I put this up on that thing, Brett, that would help? If I put this one up here? Okay, so excuse our moving here. It's really hard when all we're doing is skirts and we're trying to show all these different skirts because they're all too low. All right, so this one we're going to put the striped skirt. We're going to put it like that. Maybe you can see a little bit better there. Okay, so that's the side panel. Now you notice the side panel, it's straight. It's all it is some of the front, some of the back put together. That's it. It's straight across the bottom. It's the other side. I'll show you the back, but the back and the front are identical. You cut it off in the front and the back. Again, same place. You add this panel, you cut 2 of them, and I gave you the measurements of that panel. And you can see that the stripes are going straight with the panel, and so that's what gives you that great look. It's really cute. Then I'll turn around and show you the front. There's the side, I guess. And then there. All right. Easy peasy. Please show up the back of the, okay, we did that. What's the pattern of the blouse you are wearing? Well, this is just a tank top, what I've got on. Tank top and yoga skirt. I just made the tank top and the yoga skirt out of the same fabric because it looks like a dress. And this fabric is $24.39, the fabric that I have on. And then you guys, this is not up yet. This is the wrap that I put up Thursday night, but this fabric isn't up yet. We just got it in today and it's to die for, but we'll get it up tonight. I mean, I absolutely love this. And it took me, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes. It's really cute. It's all open. It's all knitted. You can see it. But it's got these long laces on and they're all connected and you just cut off the edging and it makes all the little fringe. Anyway, I thought it was wild. All right, so we just got that in. It will be $24.54 will be the fabric. We just haven't got it up yet. The asymmetric question for the last change in the striped fabric you made, I think that was skirt 2. Okay, yes, and see that panel made it asymmetric. So you got it? You understand it? Yeah, okay, cool. All right, so then what I want to do is go to number 5. So what I want you to see here is a couple things. Remember that we can actually do a yoga skirt. We don't have to do it out of knit. I want to kind of move to wovens, even though I'm still going to show you some knits. And I've got to get her out of the way because she's taking up all the scenery. I want to show you this one, but I don't know if I can lift it because it's so cute, this ruching. Let's just see if we get it higher, if you can see that at all. It's just too dark. It's just so cute. So you put this up and you can just, like I said, put it way up. Like I went 20 inches up, and at first I thought that was too much, but it's not. It has to go way up in order to get the ruching. So it's just cute, and then the little wrap with it. Okay. All right, so we'll put them away. That 2280, that fabric, it's so soft. It's incredible. You could just climb into it and run to bed. Okay, so this one, the ruffles now, the ruffles can be done a couple ways. It's asymmetric, the wrap, with ruffles. So that's why I say once you get down those two things, then you'll start to look at things a little bit differently. You always want to look down center front and say, okay, hey, you know, does this cross center front? How far past center front does it cross? Those are the kind of things you want to ask yourself. We already know ruffles are 1 to 1.5. So what I did is I made a skirt front and I made the skirt back. I did the same thing. I'm sorry, I left the back just like it was, and I took the skirt, I put it together, and then I just made an angular cut. Now I'll show you the angular cut I made in B. Benjamin, if you'll put B up, I think it's 5B. Yeah, so you can see that it doesn't matter where it is, doesn't matter how far down, you're just making an angular cut. Because, and you can even curve the little bottom part, because that's where those ruffles are going to go up to, and you're going to stop them all along the way, and I'll show you in this one. So this one, I think I'll go ahead and just stick it up here. So this one, what I did is, it's a little wrap. This fabric is not up yet. It's brand new in. It's going to be $24.55. This is a silk and just beautiful. So when you can see, when you cut that off, it's going to go higher in the front, and then it'll kind of have a cascade effect to the back. And then remember that you don't, it's all playing with numbers, how long you want the skirt. It's all styling, so it's nothing magical. But then what I did is I did a ruffle that was 4 inches wide. So that will add to the length of the skirt. So just kind of be aware. Then what I did is I did a rolled edge. Because it had black all through it, kind of viney looking, the fabric was. I did a rolled edge in black all the way around the ruffle. And then I just sewed the ruffle to the bottom of the yoga skirt. Now, because it's a woven, not a knit, you'll want to go larger than the knit, than your knit is. So in this case, you don't want negative ease. You just want a 1-to-1 so that it will wrap. And then I've got 2 fronts. One wraps under, one wraps over. And it's just gorgeous. It's just so pretty. What I did in this case too is I took the band and I cut it twice as long so that I made a buttonhole on one side, it wraps around, and then it ties here in the front. So one side has a tie on it, and the other side goes through a buttonhole, comes around, and then it just ties in the front. That way, what I like about that is you can kind of make it larger or smaller just depending on, hey, how much you ate that day, or, whatever. But you can see that when you do that angle, it won't hang really harsh as an angle. It'll hang kind of like a cascade. And I love the black rolled edge because it looks like it's part of the fabric. It looks like it's kind of the vines of the fabric. And it also gives it some really nice stability inside. Cute. Okay, can you clarify how proportion works for a skirt when you may, for style reasons, wear the waistband at or inches below your waist? The important part is where it hits you at the bottom hem. Yes, it is where it hits you, yes. But what I was talking about, if we go back to that Max Mara here for a little bit, I'm sorry, number 4. Let's look at this picture here for a little bit. So what I did is I measured the side seam. And I measured, let's go to that next one, sorry. Because this is where yeah, okay, perfect. So you can see how I drew that horizontal line at the hem to see that the 2 sides were even. You kind of sometimes, especially when there's stripes, asymmetric, adding, taking away, your eye starts to go bonkers. So you want to kind of let the lines control a little bit so that your eyes don't get lost in all of the illusion. So that's why I drew a line down center front. I drew a perpendicular line that cleaned up the hem. So you can see that I took the original length of the yoga skirt, or you can add however length you want it. And I knew that both sides were the same. It was only the center that was dropping and then the side portion that was raising up. So then what I did is I figured out how long I wanted the skirt, and that side seam in that little picture is going to be comparable to how long I want my skirt. So if that picture literally measures 6 inches and my skirt measures 24 inches, then I know that everything that I measure in that picture is 6 times bigger on me. And so that's exactly what I did. That picture only drops down 1 inch, so I knew that was 6 inches. And it goes up 1.5 inches, so I knew that to be 8 inches. So that's why I'm saying it doesn't matter how tall you are, and I can't say everybody wants to do those exact numbers, but you take that picture, scale it up to you, figure out the difference between the two, and then how far down and how far up it goes, find the common, the number of how much larger you are than the skirt, and you can do that to both those numbers. And then you had exactly what happened, when it happened, etc., etc. Does that make sense for everybody? Easy, easy. Any fitting issues, such as a sway back? Not in a skirt. The waistline will take care of it. You can just shape the waistline however you want. If you've got a little bit of a tummy, sometimes you'll scoop out the front. You want to always fix the waistline so that the hem is straight. If the hemline is not straight, it's the waist fault. So the only fitting issue you'll have on the skirt is to just manipulate that waist until the hem is even. And once that hem is even, bam, that's where your waistband goes. And just put it at a comfortable part of your body. I didn't forget, but I took some pictures at the workshop in Keystone because we had a lady who made a skirt. And I took a before and after, but I emailed those photos to myself and I could not get them. They've not shown up. So I don't have them to show you. But all they were was the hemline was crooked. It was hanging lower in the front. Then we pulled up the waistline. We drew a line to where she wanted to wear it at her waist. And the hemline was straight. I mean, it just looked amazing. The difference is night and day how much better it looks. So don't leave your hems crooked. You want to fix them at your waist. Do not fix them at your hem. That's definitely a no-no. Okay, we're going to put her down. And again, that fabric there is 24.55, and then the white on white eyelet, I don't have the fabric for. We'll have it up on the page afterwards. Is the ruffle cut on a bias? It is not. No. How would you shorten skirt 3? I am 5 feet tall. Well, anytime, all you have to do is, again, take those numbers, and you have to decide what your total length to be. Let's go back to that skirt here for a second. Thanks, Benjamin. Not that one. The beige one. 3, yeah. Yep. The black and white one. Okay, so all you have to do is work it backwards. Like the longest point, let me go back to this skirt. I'm going to put the skirt back up. So regardless of the height you are, if you measure from your waist to the longest part of that skirt and just figure out where you want that to hit you, and then just work it backwards. It would be just as cute to me if this was hanging up like this. It's not any less cuter because it's shorter. But you just have to figure out, that's the beauty of making this. Just figure out the longest point, figure out how wide you want it, and then just work it backwards. I just wanted you to see the pattern work, and then you can go through and decide you want to scale those pieces down or you want to leave them where they are. Okay? Easy enough? How much yardage for the silk skirt? 3 yards. 3 yards because of the ruffles. So the ruffle, what you're going to do is I cut it 4 inches wide and the length of the front, and then you measure how long the original line is. You cut, open, until it's 1.5 times that amount. That's the... Oh! I was worried about moving these ladies, you guys. I didn't get it set up right. That just scared me. Hold on just 1 second. Everybody okay? Okay. I think we're good. I can't remember what I was saying. Oh, the ruffle. The ruffle. Oh, this thing fell over. That's what fell over. Okay, we can't put on that thing anymore. It's not stable. Or I can't leave it on there anymore. I can't remember the question. Sorry about that. Technical difficulty. What was the question? How much yardage? It was 3 yards. It was definitely 3 yards. I think, oh, I know. So you measure the original and then just open it 1.5 inches. And so on this one, by the time you do, because remember that this is the way the skirt starts to begin with. It's angled like this. So you're going to measure this whole thing. And what I did is I cut a piece of paper that was 4 inches wide. Cut, spread. It was almost forming like a whole circle. You cut out the middle and you've got a little ruffle. And then you do the same to the back. And then this was a wrap skirt. So you've got 2 fronts and 1 back. So cute. So cute. All right, I'm so excited. I want to show you this one. Because this border is the same. It's the same. It's the same pattern that I did this one. But one thing that I've been asked a lot on a border is because the yoga skirt, when we make the yoga skirt, it has a curved bottom, somewhat curved. So you can't just place it on a border skirt, on a border print. So what I did with this is the whole concept behind I wanted you to see is that you can cut off the border and sew it back on. And that's exactly what I did. So all the way around on this, all I did was I cut off the border, and you can see that the print of the fabric is not anything where you'd see a seam. So you don't even see the seam on the border. The border is 8 inches wide. This is fabric 2363. I used 2 yards. because you got border on both edges. So I just put the skirt in the middle and then sewed the borders. And the skirt, because the border was 8 inches long, I could make the skirt a little bit shorter. Although it did have, I did make it a wrap. So you can see that it wraps under. It's all secured in the waistband again, but I love this look. All right, so anyway, that was really fun and easy to do. So you can take that yoga skirt, even with that curved bottom, and you can put a straight border on the bottom because you cut it off and sew it back on. But you'd have to do it that way. You can't lay it on a border and just cut it because it curves and it looks silly going through the border. But cutting it off, putting it back on, it looks great. All right, easy enough. And then it's nice to just pick it up with a lighter color. We don't have this anymore, but 211 works great for a top. This was a couple webcasts ago. Still, just these pinks are great for spring, and we're getting into summer, and I think finally the weather's really, really, truly going to warm up. Fingers are crossed. I know it's beautiful here in Dallas, but I've definitely been in other areas of the country where it is not. So I know some of you are just barely seeing, the flowers on the trees, and it's like ours is all done, and we've got fruit. It's exciting. We have 5 peaches on my peach tree. So I've lost a couple though. All right. Do I have any silk shirts? Silk shirts. I think that answer would be no. Okay. The one I have on, all I did again is I just used the fabric 2439. It's just the tank top and the yoga skirt. I cut the tank top longer. I put a belt on, bloused it. It's comfortable. It's wonderful. I just love the fabric. This is a viscose rayon, and I just wanted you to see it made up and on. It's just a little summer dress is what it is. It looks really nice. And then the black is 2454, and that's this, I guess it was a Baker wrap. That's what it was, Baker wrap from last Thursday night. Just cute. And again, once I got this fabric, I thought, oh my, that's got to be a wrap. Anyway. All right, so 1, 2, have we covered all of them? I think we have. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to take a little bit of time and I want to go over just a couple things in general. So this would be picture number 6. So I want you to see that. I want you to look at that price. And I think that what I like about sewing is I love the look. I just don't love the length. And I certainly don't love the price. But of course, all it is a little bit of ruffle on a knit, and you've got it. All right, so I just wanted to show you that. These are very stylish right now. The ruffles, the asymmetric. You can go into a store and just see them everywhere. All right, let's go to the next one. This, I loved it. This is just nothing more than a wrap. That wrap is wrapped around your hips and stitched. And again, that is, I think it's Max Mara, so it's really pricey. But we have some fabric that's really, really similar to that. And I just wanted you to get kind of a glimpse of that. All right, and then I wanted to go to the next one. Okay, I want you to look at this. So this is a little bit of pattern making. There's times where I just don't realize what's not in your head. So what's not in your head is when you do, this is a yoga skirt being made from the base. The base would be the straight skirt. And so you slash, 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 from bottom to top. This is a picture out of my pattern making book. I wanted you to see it. And the reason you do that is because you can see as that hem is spread, it keeps the skirt the correct length. However, when you get to the side seam, a straight skirt has a curve from the waist to the hip, and then it goes straight to the bottom. But this skirt, the yoga skirt, does not. So how I straightened the yoga skirt was I made these little dashes right in there. So if you wanted to make this a straight skirt, the reason I'm showing you this is you just reverse that process. Even if you don't want to make it a straight skirt, even if you wanted to make it less straight, less fullness than what it is, then you could bring in those sides a little bit. And if you make those cuts, you can pull in that side seam and put your French curve back on there on the side, and you can restore the French curve onto that side seam. So that picture's worth 1,000 words, I think, because it shows you how it was made. And so if you want to have, you know, like just not as much fullness and maybe a little shaping through the hip. That's how you do it. And the reason I wanted to show you this was because if I wanted to make this skirt out of a woven and didn't want to do a wrap, which is what this is, then I could put a zipper in the side. And personally, I would go right through the waistband. And anytime you do that, the zipper is just a little bit below the waistband, and they just usually put a hook and eye. It goes right through the waistband. You just turn a seam allowance under, like, you know, instead of putting the seam at the center back on that waistband, put it at the left side. That's where zippers are. And then you could just turn the seam allowance under and just insert either, you know, a regular zipper, a visible zipper, whatever you want. You can just insert it right in there and go right through the band. Just leave it a little bit lower and then just put a hook and eye. So that way you'll get the shape of your hip, and you could do a woven if you wanted to. Okay, easy enough? That's pattern making. See, that's why I say a lot of times, you know, we don't understand where those straight lines come from, and so we just don't understand how to get them back. The most important reason why it's done this way is because the hem stays even. Whereas if you do it other ways, the hem doesn't stay even. So keep in mind, this is pattern making. I mean, the whole world uses pattern making. I only teach it, and most times very badly, but at least I wanted you to see this. To clarify, when cutting the yoga skirt for the border print, do you straighten out the hem? No, you don't need to. Because when I did the border was straight, and so when you sew it on, when you sew a straight border onto a curved edge, it's just slightly curved. It's not, our yoga skirt is not as full as that photo. I did not make it that full. So it's not near as crooked as what that is. So when you sew it onto the bottom, it actually is straight. It looks straight, even though it's not, but it looks completely straight. I put that skirt on, you'd never know that that border wasn't straight. So the illusion of the straight lines of that border make it look straight all the way around. Very cute, very cute. Okay, and then I just wanted you to see, was that the last picture? There's one more? Yeah. I just wanted you to see this because this is really, again, kind of what we're talking about. We've now straightened the yoga skirt. We put a little zipper in there. It's asymmetric, and there's ruffles. So you guys can see that there's just so many skirts out there that if you look at them and see them, 2010 is a great base. You could certainly, you know, no one's there to say that this skirt isn't a knit. It could be. I'm just going to assume that it's a woven, but that ruffle, those ruffles are really popular right now at the bottom of a skirt. Sometimes there's 2 rows of ruffles, but again, asymmetric. You can see how far past center front it goes, and then a little ruffle at the bottom. And I really like how one side comes up higher than the other side. Okay? All right. All right, so here was the goal tonight. Our goal, yeah, we did it. So our goal was to get done early, so with the remaining time, you have time to make a yoga skirt. How about that? It only takes a little bit of time. Cut it out, zip it up. You don't even have to put a seam at the back if you don't want. Seam in the front, seam in the back, doesn't matter. Zip up a new yoga skirt. But first we're going to do that. We're going to give you guys, I miss which pattern is PoM. It's called 2010. It's called the 3-piece yoga skirt. The reason it's called a 3-piece yoga skirt is there's 3 pieces. The front, the back, and then the band. And that's it, 3 pieces. So you always say, how hard can 3 pieces become? You guys are the best. All right, so I do want to encourage you to do this pattern making class. I just really can't encourage you enough. You know, in my conversations, it doesn't matter with who, but anyway, in my conversations, one thing I realize is, you know, when I'm teaching fit, because I have a pattern making background, it's in my head, all those rules. It's no way possible I'm going to tell you every single rule when I'm teaching. Or maybe it is, but I'm just, like I said, not that good a teacher. Because I just forget that you don't know this stuff. It's hard for me to realize that you don't know those pattern basics. So I know for many who took the class, they were thrilled, they were pleased. And the most common comment was, wow, I can't believe what I didn't know. And you know, I keep kind of saying education changes perspective and education this and education that, and I'm kind of pushing you. I don't want you to feel pushed, but I want you to feel pushed because I feel that passionate that pattern making will help the overall process. And again, I hear so many people say, oh, I love your method. They're not my methods. Nothing I'm teaching is anything I created. I learned it in college. It's a math. I'm just passing it forward. It's not a method I made up. I haven't changed anything. I just know that if you know it, and the more you know, the more fun you'll have with the whole experience. All right? So now, just a little bit of FYI, in 2 weeks it's Memorial Day. And then, so we won't have a webcast in 2 weeks. We'll go to the following week, which is obviously June. And so we get a little break from our webcast that gives you time to go back, do some sewing, and to catch up. So we won't see you in 2 weeks. We'll see you in 3 weeks. Oh, what is the difference between the yoga skirt 2010, and Amy's skirt? Okay, so Amy's skirt is a woven. It has a yoke, and it's an A-line. Yoga skirt is a 2-inch wide band. Amy's skirt does not have a band. It has a yoke, so it sits right below the waist. It's contoured yoke. The yoga skirt has a 2-inch wide band, and it's for knits. So woven versus knits. It's like the blouse and a t-shirt, basically. Okay? All right, you all. That means it's howdy doody time. And go sew. Go sew. Happy sewing from Silhouette Patterns. Love you all. Bye.